Hello everyone, Jay Whitner here with Space Headlines. We cover the news in space. Today we're going to be talking about the first week of March 2018. Our first item is the GOES-S weather satellite. The satellite was launched successfully on an Atlas V rocket. It's a new advanced model of weather satellite built by Lockheed Martin. It was built for the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, and this satellite is part of a 4-satellite constellation located in geosynchronous orbit. We've had a little bit of negative news on the James Webb Space Telescope. Vibrations in the sun shield may delay launch. This is the opinion of the General Accounting Office that the launch will not occur now until 2019. The delay may cause the project to reach a $8 billion total cost number, which is the maximum set by Congress for the project. So this may trigger various additional levels of congressional review. The Falcon Heavy, now that it has demonstrated its ability to successfully operate on its very first launch, has the capability to accelerate our robotic exploration of the solar system. Some of the candidate missions that people are talking about are doing a Pluto orbiter as opposed to a flyby, missions to the moons of Saturn, perhaps a Mars sample return. The Falcon Heavy, due to its larger lift capability, can get larger probes to targets faster than any rocket currently in the inventory. And it is more affordable than the Space Launch System, which would have the capability to get things done even faster when it comes online, but at a substantially higher cost. The Global Exploration Roadmap has been developed over a period of several years. The third version of the roadmap came out this year in January, and it clearly puts the moon before Mars. The moon is on the path to Mars. And in meetings in Tokyo, it became clear that there's really a consensus that the moon is on the path to Mars. 14 space agencies were participating, representing many countries. For example, ESA is one agency that represents a lot of countries. So the moon is getting more and more attention and assuming a very critical role in our space future. The TESS telescope depicted here is the follow-on to Kepler and sort of the predecessor to James Webb. The thinking is that this telescope is going to discover thousands of exoplanets. One estimate thinks that they're going to discover roughly 20,000 exoplanets with this telescope. It's going to launch next month on a Falcon 9, and the mission plan is to monitor 500,000 stars looking for signs of planets. So look for that later on in the month. The Falcon 9 Block 5 is the latest version of the Falcon 9, and SpaceX officials have indicated this will be the final version of the Falcon 9. It's designed for rapid turnaround and being reused many, many times. The news item is it's coming up for a static fire test to test the engines of the new design. Go ahead and light them up. Some of the differences in the Block 5 are the whole first stage is going to be covered with a thermal protection coating to help with the re-entry and to minimize wear and tear. It has new, larger titanium grid fins for maneuvering as the rocket comes in for landings. And it meets or exceeds all the NASA crew requirements. The static fire test is scheduled to happen soon, and the first flight should be happening in April, launching from Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. In other SpaceX Falcon 9 news, the Falcon 9 made its 50th flight this week, and it reached this major milestone faster than the Space Shuttle, which took over 10 years to get to 50 flights, or the Atlas V rocket. So once again, congratulations to Elon Musk and the team at SpaceX. In all these meetings that have been going on, particularly a recent meeting in Japan, it's become very clear that other nations are very, very interested in NASA's moon exploration plans. And a lot of the plans focus around what used to be called the Deep Space Gateway and is now being called the Lunar Orbital Platform. This apparently is the foundation that we're going to build upon for a lunar return. And one of the really big challenges is we need to define the requirements for lunar landers. What do they need to be capable of? What kind of weight do they need to be able to transport to and from the moon? And it's not a question of duplicating the Apollo lander, because that wouldn't meet the current safety requirements. So this is a key challenge coming up, and it has been for quite a while. The cost of developing a large-scale lunar lander has been an obstacle for some time. The European Space Agency is working on a very interesting project, and has been for quite a while, but I just learned of it recently. Since 2007, they've been working on this. The idea is that the satellite gathers air molecules in space and uses them for propulsion. This is a little bit counterintuitive because space is a vacuum, right? But in low Earth orbit, it's not a perfect vacuum. There are air molecules. This is why things need to be reboosted like the space station, because of atmospheric drag. So they've been testing this idea in Earth in a lab that simulates the space environment, and it seems to be working. The idea reminds me a lot of the science fiction Bussard Ramjet idea of scooping up hydrogen out there when you're going really fast. This is sort of an earthbound analog to that. Stratolaunch in the news again. The news is comments by Paul Allen about the project, and what they're talking about is the idea that Stratolaunch could be used to launch a space plane instead of a rocket. So a reusable space plane launched from a reusable aircraft means the entire system is reusable. They're calling this idea black ice. Black ice is their code for the space plane. It's not a short-term plan, it's a longer, more evolutionary situation. But the plane would detach from the Stratolaunch aircraft at about 35,000 feet, go up to space, and then return to land on a runway. That's our show covering the first week of March 2018. Hope you enjoyed it. Check back with us in a week, and we'll have some fresh news for you. Take care.